Now, for those who are familiar with my interviews, if you're not, go into my YouTube page, Lukan Online, Lukan Online. Go and check out some of my interviews. You might be able to see some clips on my Instagram page. And for those who have been following and are more familiar with my interviews, you know that sometimes some of my interviews go way left. That being said, I had an interview with a certain individual who I've said I will not mention for respect out the person who actually set up the interview. Now, this person, who to be honest, I'm not fully aware of, but is very well known, has a massive following, like massive. I did a little bit of research to find out more about the person. Now, if I'm being honest, when I do interviews, I use my interviews to find out about the person. So I do basic research and ask questions based on those bits of information and try and ask various different questions based on the direction of the conversation. My interviews aren't interviews, by the way, they're conversations. Anyway, speaking to this person, or in fact, before I even spoke to this person, I put it out on Instagram. I said, if you've got any questions, let me know and I will ask those questions on your behalf. That is what you're supposed to do as someone who interviews, especially for someone in the public eye who masses of people will say, oh, I want to know this and I want to know that and I want to know this, but they haven't got the opportunity to ask these people questions. I feel that it is my job to ask those questions. And people are generally going to ask questions about subject matters they have an idea about but want to know a little bit more about, i.e. if they've seen you put something in the social media or put something on TV or talk about something on radio or something in your music, they might say, what did you actually mean when you said that? Or what were you actually going through at that point in time? Or how did you feel when you came out the other side of that situation? So I got questions like that. And I was speaking to this individual who mentioned their husband. Now, this person is also a TV celebrity. And this person is also in one of the biggest reality TV shows in the world. That being said, anything I say or ask about, if it's been on TV, as far as I'm concerned, it's in the public domain. If I go to someone and ask them questions about their mum going through horrible times, doing all sorts of criminal activities or whatever it might be, stuff that isn't out there, but I dig and find dirt on this person and I bring that up, I'm an a-hole. 100%. That's uncalled for and unnecessary, and that's a disgusting person. However, as far as I'm concerned, if I ask questions about something that person knowingly has in the world of social media or in the world of TV, especially it being one of the biggest TV shows in the world, I feel I have the right to ask those questions. I feel it's my duty to ask those questions. Anyway, with this individual, she mentioned her husband, and I said, oh, actually, mentioning that person, I have a few questions here. The first question was, based on the fact that her husband had an affair with another member of that cast. The question was, having your husband have an affair with the other member of the cast, how were you able to get over that? I think that's an okay question. I got halfway through the question and I got shut down. No, we're not asking those sort of questions. Okay, fine. Okay, why would you ask that? You should know better, is what she said to me. Well, why should I know better? In fact, as far as I'm concerned, I know that this is what I should be doing. I'm asking you questions that people want to know. I'm not going to ask you questions that people don't care about. These are obviously questions that people want to know. You should know better. I don't think so. And she says, why are you asking that question? I said, well, actually, I've got a list of questions that people want to know. She said, well, there's a list of questions going through the feed right now. Why don't you ask those questions? I said, I'm not reading the feed. I'm reading the questions that people are giving me. And I picked up my book and I held it to the camera. That being said, we moved on. It didn't really matter. The conversation had already gone left. She really wasn't interested in anything I had to say from that point onwards. But then I had a bit of a back and forth with her PR person. Now, the PR person was said, you know what, you asked questions that you should know better and know not to ask. This PR person knows what I'm like. I don't like to ask boring questions. Where do you get your inspiration from? All them dead questions. Do you like Michael Jackson? What? I don't know. No one cares. And you can find that out from every other dead interview out there. So I asked a question that someone had asked me to ask, and I didn't think it was a bad question. In fact, you could even argue that it's good because there are certain people that might go through similar situations, and asking how you came out at the back end of that might give inspiration to someone else. So not only am I asking the question that you put out there, you put that information out there to the world, so it's well within reason for me to ask them questions. I'm actually asking you a question where you can give further help and assistance to your fans by inspiring them to get through difficult situations. I lie? Apparently, I was wrong for doing that. I was even told, you're too hard-headed. Now, to be fair, that's a fact. I really am. But I don't think I'm wrong. So, if you're locked into OnTap right now, if you're even watching this on the Instagram, and I know that certain person will probably see this, I don't care because I've not done nothing wrong. With the exception of her, do you think I'm in the wrong? Should I not have asked that question? Or am I right to ask questions about situations that that person has put in the public domain? If it's on TV, on a TV show, surely I can say, oh, you know that situation you went through on TV? And it wasn't a surprise to that person that it was on TV, because these things are recorded, cut up, edited, and broadcast, and these people they see it. Of course they know they see it. They know it's out there. They're walking around with TV cameras following them night and day, day and night. They know. So it shouldn't be a surprise to this person. So what I want to know is, was I wrong? Anyway, that being said, here's Lyrica Anderson with a track called Marriott. We're going into the ads after this one. As I say, this is Lyrica Anderson. Brand new track called Marriott. See you after the ads.
Okay, I get it. You need space now.